Well, I grew up, I had the good fortune to grow up in the northern part of Sydney with bush right up to my backyard. So I spent much of my childhood just in the bush, either by myself or with neighbourhood kids or, you know, the neighbour's dog. So I always spent a lot of time in the bush. I also was one of those kids fascinated by animals. So I was always catching lizards and putting grasshoppers in jars and that sort of thing. My very favourite book growing up was Gerald Durrell's My Family and Other Animals. So, you know, I always thought always thought I'd be a zoologist or a biologist of some sort, and that led me to a science degree, and that's how I got into it. I wouldn't, you know, I'm not a person of faith. I've been an atheist all my life. I'll be very, very honest about that. I certainly miss being out in the bush when I'm not there. I lived for 2.5 years in the US, in a beautiful part of the US, but I missed the Australian bush. I really did. So yeah, I mean, I absolutely love being in nature. I spend a lot of my time there, you know, outside lockdown as much as I possibly can. Whether you would regard that as a spiritual experience, I don't know. I mean, it's something I enjoy. I have. I mean, I think it's one of the things that drives me in my climate change work is that feeling of needing to work to minimise that loss. I mean, some loss is inevitable. We've already lost some stuff. Certainly the last time I was snorkeling up on the Great Barrier Reef, I very much felt that. I mean, what went up specifically with the Climate Council to draw attention to one of the bleaching events. And yeah, that's where it really hits you in the face, literally. It's everything. I mean, you know, first and foremost, I have 2 children and they're in their 20s now, and I want them to have a future. I certainly want them to have a future if they have children, you know, my unborn grandchildren. So that's first and foremost what motivates me. But yes, nature motivates me. I do feel grief for both the loss that we've had already and for the potential loss in the future. And, you know, and I would like to see the human race actually last. You know, I've written that the human race is very unique in that it's the only the only animal species that very much soils its own nest. You know, animals don't do that, but humans absolutely do. So, you know, sometimes I despair, and, you know, I hear certain things and I think, well, maybe the human race doesn't deserve to be saved, frankly. But, you know, you have to get over that and move ahead and think, well, what can we save?